There's a bright object right next to the CN Tower. It's 6 a.m. It's a cluster. It's a large hexahedron cluster. I'm going to back up just to try and catch the antenna. That flash underneath is just below the lower portion of the antenna. It's where the top pod is, the observation deck. That's where those flashing lights are. That's where the observation deck of the CN Tower is. And this thing is right above it, straight above it. It's right up above the tip of the antenna, which I don't think is visible because I can't see it through this little eyepiece. I'll double check that later. So the cluster has gone into a plasma state. Earlier this morning around 4 a.m. 2:15 a.m. I filmed the moon, which was very low, and I made sure to film it for a long time and prove that it's a hologram and that it's made up of clusters just like that one that you're watching right now. And that the moon hologram is a supercluster. Maybe a couple of 100,000 times larger than this one. And that was in Earth's atmosphere as well, very low over Toronto. It was no more at any point than 10 kilometers away from me, just like this thing is. This thing is about 6 kilometers away from me, maybe 5. And this is a hexahedron cluster in a plasma state. I'm not going to take any shots, I'm just going to film it. I got lots of shots of them already. It's been a long time since these things have been showing up. Now they show up after months of not showing up. Okay, I just mentioned this is not the planet Venus or any other planet, and it is not a star, and it is not the moon. And it is not a plane or a helicopter or anything else that we have that can fly. And it's nothing that we have. This is a cluster of living entities, and its shape is a hexahedron. And this cluster is in a plasma state right now. And it's hovering but moving around over the top of the CN Tower antenna, which is at about a 1,500 foot height, and this thing is at about 2,000 feet. And it seems to be going up because I'm having to raise my camera every now and then to keep up with its position. Yeah, it knows it's on camera. When it goes invisible like that, it's coming closer to check out. Who is it that's filming it? Yep. No sooner said than done. It's right in front of me. I'm gonna back off. Because it was so close I couldn't see anything else. I'm now making a movie about the moon that I shot earlier this morning at 2:15 a.m. As I said, now it's just after 6 a.m. and the movie's about 56 minutes long, and I hope that gets on YouTube just the way it is, because I didn't add anything to it, I didn't cut it, and I didn't do anything to it. It's straight from the camera, and it's the truth about the moon, and it shows it the way it is and what it is, what it's composed of, and it paints a clear picture about the moon hologram once and for all. It's the ultimate proof what the moon hologram is composed of, and that it is a hologram, and that it's composed of I don't know how many clusters the size of this one, and even smaller orbs, even more of them. It's just a gigantic cluster. That's what the moon hologram is. A cluster just like this one, except thousands of times larger. Everything I've said about these things has proved to be true, and is coming true. I have not made one mistake yet about describing them or predicting what they would do. So far I'm 100% right on everything I ever said about them. And I'm right about this thing. It's a hexahedron cluster in a plasma state. That's what this is. I don't think anyone knows as much about these things as I do, because no one has spent the amount of time and the amount of energy and the amount of effort as I have over the past 2 years studying these things. So I know what I'm talking about when it comes to them. So this thing is going to probably stay here for at least 2 more hours that it will be visible, and if the sun comes out it fades away because the sun is bright, and you have to know where to look for it if you want to film it or see it. So it'll be bright like this for another hour and a half, and as the sun comes up or as it gets daylight it seems to fade away, but it always stays the same. It's just that then there will be too much light and it will make this thing fade. Okay, so there's Toronto. I'm not gonna film it anymore because I want to go work on my moon movie. That's a lot more important than this cluster because it deals with thousands of clusters like this, and that's what makes up the moon hologram. Clusters just like the one you just saw.